If you're a therapist who feels called to create a bigger impact beyond your caseload, but the moment you think about nonprofits, your confidence kind of drops, then this training is definitely for you. Welcome to this training, Beyond the Couch, How Therapists Become Confident Nonprofit Founders. This will be a short and quick training. This is just to help you get in the mindset of switching from a therapist to being a nonprofit founder, that leader, the CEO. So if you're a therapist who feels called to create a bigger impact beyond your caseload, but the moment you think about nonprofits, your confidence kind of drops, then this training is definitely for you. Because here's the thing, most people don't say this out loud, but therapists don't struggle with nonprofit logistics. They actually struggle with this identity shift from clinician to founder. And I know that I personally struggled with that over the years. And so I wanted to share a bit more about what has helped me. So today we're going to talk about Beyond the Couch and talking about how therapists become confident nonprofit founders without losing their ethics, income, or your sanity. Before we go any further, though, I want to ground you in why this conversation matters so much to me. I'm a therapist, just like many of you. I love my clinical work. I care deeply about my community and the impact I have on my community. And I really felt a pull to build something bigger than just my caseload. I've always been drawn to the larger systemic operation of things. But here's what no one prepared me for with that leadership transition, that my training in my master's and in my doctorate made me an excellent clinician, but it really did leave me pretty unprepared to lead. Yes, do we learn a lot of the foundational skills? Absolutely. And that will carry you as a great leader. But there are other additional things that was not taught in my programming. I didn't learn how to build organizations. I didn't learn how to make strategic decisions. I didn't learn how to hold authority, power, or responsibility without feeling like I was doing something wrong or I didn't belong there. And so for a long time, I thought that meant something was wrong with me. So I did what a lot of therapists do. I went back to school. I actually ended up getting a certificate and actually several certificates in nonprofit leadership. And I studied organizational psychology. I got a certificate in that. And I just did that because I wanted the language, the frameworks, the structure for what I was experiencing, that I had never been taught in school. And those programs were extremely helpful. They gave me clarity. They helped me understand systems, leadership, and organizational dynamics and organizational behavior. But I want to make it really clear about something that although those certificates were helpful, they're not necessary. What actually changed everything wasn't the credentials behind my name, it was understanding the identity shift from clinician to leader. A lot of those things that I learned I already knew in a lot of ways, or I could have picked up a book or an article and read that. Am I glad I have those certificates? Absolutely. I think it has helped me in many different ways, but looking back on it, I don't think it was necessary to get those to be a CEO or a founder of a nonprofit. And I don't think most therapists need more letters behind their name. What they need is translation. They need permission. They need a new way to see themselves. And that's why this training is so important to me and why I do this work now. So here's what I see over and over again with therapists who want to start nonprofits. You're excellent at holding space, but you freeze when it's time to make executive decisions. You're super confident with clients, but you second guess yourself with boards, donors, or other systems that you're not used to working in. And you've been trained to serve, but you haven't been trained to lead. So, underneath all of that is this belief that good therapists shouldn't want power, money, or control. We see that a lot, right? And that belief is keeping, I think, incredible leaders and incredible therapists stuck on the couch when they were really meant to build institutions. We know that a lot of the institutions that exist in the mental health field are not actually built by clinicians. And so I think that's a missing link with nonprofit agencies that you all have the skills to build. So let me say this more clearly. Therapists already have the core skills of strong nonprofit founders. They've just never been taught how to translate them right, into nonprofit leadership. And what I mean by this is key things that we are trained in that actually help us with some of these nonprofit skills. Things like treatment planning. Treatment planning is strategic planning. Clinical boundaries are governance skills. Ethical decision making is fiduciary leadership with a board. Systems thinking in therapy is systems building in organizations. My background is in family therapy, specifically systemic theory, and I cannot tell you the amount of times I have applied family therapy, systemic thinking to the organizations that I've worked in, the organizations that I've built. It is like a family system where each piece has its part and they operate together to create the system. So, confidence doesn't come from becoming someone else. It comes from finally seeing yourself accurately in this leadership role. Most therapists, they think that confidence comes after you have that 501(c)(3) status, but it's actually backwards. The confidence comes from when you stop asking, am I allowed to lead? And you actually start asking, what kind of leader does this mission require? Right? This is the moment that therapists move beyond the couch from helper to, in my opinion, a visionary holder. I have the nonprofit blueprint. It breaks down everything, what actually matters when therapists step into nonprofit leadership, legally, financially, and identity wise. If you want that, don't already have it, then drop nonprofit blueprint in the comments and I'll DM it to you. And then I also have a free handout on transitioning to becoming a CEO. You can check it out if you go in this Facebook group. If you go to the top bar, there's something that says guides. Click on that. You're going to see two different guides. The first one is all of the PDF handouts that I have. If you go through there I do have one specifically on transitioning to becoming a CEO. And then if you go down to the second guides, it's all the live trainings that I've ever done, even some of my recorded trainings I have in there. So you have access to them. All you have to do is comment on any of the guides that you want, and I will DM them to you.